The women for the Team Classic final just lining up here. Mike Dixon alongside myself, David Goldstrom. Those are the weather conditions. Not much change there, but this is the journey, Mike.
This is it, straight line out of the stadium, mostly double pole power. The very fast descent, the extreme climb back up where we look down into the stadium. And the two right-handers are the tactical parts of this course. There's the men. It's just a further 200 metres down the hill, which means you're climbing a further 200 up the hill.
It's misty, it's foggy, but after the semi-finals, the servicemen should have got this absolutely spot on. Hopefully no mistakes in that department. Slovenia, Visnar, Maric, Finland, Saarinen, Lehtomäki, Italy with Follis and Longa, Faller and Jakobsen for Norway, Ingsmarsdotter and Kalla for Sweden, Björnsson and Kanken Randall for the United States, Germany, Steffi Böhler and Nicole Fessel, then Canada, Perianne Jones and Daria Gajova, Ishida and Natsumi for Japan, and Dotsenko and Ivanova for Russia. So, spearheading, Katja Visnar, Petra Maric to get us underway. Two, that's Faller, who's going to run the first leg with Jakobsen on the second leg. Mike, quick thought?
It's a good team, David. It's a very good team, but for me, Finland looked the strongest on the heats.
And here you have Aino-Kaisa Saarinen, who's going to open it up, and Krista Lakanmäki hoping that she's going to bring it home. Katja Visnar to get the Slovenians off to a good start. The opener for Italy, Ariana Follis, former world sprint champion, and three in the white for Sweden, Ida Ingsmarsdotter to start the run. Canada just behind there. That was Perianne Jones, 12 in picture. That's Sadie Björnsson from Alaska, the all-Alaskan, the American team. Japan, you're looking at Steffi Böhler there at the moment. And wearing four, this is Masako Ishida, partnered by Madoka Natsumi. They had an awful first semi-final. They're lucky to be here. That's why it's called lucky losers. But they could still play a part in this, because if you go back 2 years ago, they were fourth, just behind Italy. So, the start of the 2011 World Championship Classic Sprint Final. Only the third time in a major championship that we've raced in classic style. The Olympics in 2006, the World Championships in 2009. Under starters' orders. Well, an outrageously long hold there, Mike Dixon.
Oh, well, the tension there, you could feel the tension these athletes were going through, but as the gun went, they were unleashed from the gun, and it's all about arm power up this 200-300 meter straight and now into the diagonal stride. So everyone desperate to get a good lead or a good comfortable spatial position.
I've never seen her hold that long. I mean, is that some sort of Norwegian punishment? And away they go, and it's Finland and Aino-Kaisa Saarinen going straight into the lead up the first part of the uphill climb in the dark suit with those little blue bits there, being followed there by Sweden. That's Ida Ingsmarsdotter, and also Italy, Ariana Follis in just about third place.
I'm wondering, David, if Magna Darlin has had a chat with his two Finnish sprinters and just said, you are strong enough to take this from the gun. Do you go all out and try and lead from the start and then create that big gap? I think that's the strategy from Saarinen.
Saarinen, you see, full of confidence for her, from her bronze medal in the 10-kilometer classic. Full of confidence that the Finnish women, four of them finished in the first 8. Full of confidence that the men with Matti Häkkinen were so dominant. They believe
And it's so important, that confidence, the confidence as a team, the confidence in your wax technicians. But no big separation there. Saarinen, well, looking very comfortable at the front.
And the big three Nordic countries right there. And it's Maiken, Kaspersen, Falla in second place. And looking at the second runners here. But already they're coming down the back straight on this journey of 1,335 meters, just slightly shorter loop than the men do. Left-handed as they come into the back straight now.
David, with Saarinen, one of the most experienced in the whole field, and handing over to Latinmäki, who's, well, the least experienced in this field. She's only 20. I'm surprised they didn't run it the other way around, leaving the anchor leg for Saarinen.
You know what I think Magne Dahlen's looking for? I think he's asking Saarinen to make this really tough, to break this up and to put them under pain there. The Norwegian going with her, Falla, and also Ida Ingsmar Dodder, but you can see the tempo of Saarinen here is one of determination. And Wisner and also Follis just detaching themselves at the back of that first group, with the Russian Dotsenko already a couple of meters off that first leading group.
The damage that Saarinen, maybe it's not going to come through straight away, but the latent damage to these athletes, this will hurt them the next time they have to go.
And Sadie Bjornsson of America really taken off her feet at the back of the group. But it is Finland leading into the first exchange now. For the women there, Petra Matic standing tall, the world bronze medalist, the Olympic bronze medalist, Olympic in classic, world in freestyle, and Saarinen putting the punishment in as she hands over to Latinmäki. Falla giving it to Astrid Jakobsen, the world 2007 classic individual champion. And Matic not getting the best of starts there, and the Italians have caught up a little bit there. Mariana Longa from Livigno. And going out there, Canada, Daria Gajova. But you can see 5 of them are away. 50% of the field ahead of the other 50% by 20 meters.
It's a big, it's a huge amount of damage at Saarinen, and that's clearly why Magne Dahlen has put her first, to create the damage, create some separation. I really thought maybe Latinmäki's lack of experience, David, she nearly exited the handover pen before she was touched by Saarinen. She would have been disqualified.
Latinmäki, 20 years of age. Superb form as an under-23 athlete this year, just getting better and better. One of those 4 Finnish women who finished in the top 8 in the 10 Classic. Here she is on the near side, punching it out. Matic on the far side, using that giant leverage to get up there. Astrid Jakobsen just 4th as Charlotte Kalla comes up on the near side. Kalla, whose classic sprinting has been very good this year.
It has. Kalla looking comfortable in there behind Latinmäki, and I really love the way Latinmäki skis. Keeps her hands so tight and very much slides up the hill.
11 years the difference between Latinmäki and the woman in yellow. And it's the younger athletes at the moment. Charlotte Kalla, the Olympic 10-kilometer freestyle champion of last year, tucks into second place. A little discussion from the Russians about the skis because Ivanova didn't have the best of skis on the semi-finals. But it is Latinmäki coming to this left-hander now, skips over, and Charlotte Kalla goes second. And I tell you what, there, Petra Matic's skis are not that good.
They're not. She's got the grip on the uphill, but I don't think she's got the glide in the downhills. You need both.
And Norway back in 4th place there. Astrid Jakobsen also not having a good first leg round here. Remember, 3 times for each runner. And Matic just improving a little bit there.
We saw a little camera shot of Saarinen there, and she's just, there's a face of absolute focus. She's going to go out after this handover like dynamite.
So Latinmäki with Matic up there. And also Charlotte Kalla. Charlotte Kalla's done a good job, actually. She's probably been the most economical on this particular leg. And now you can see the gap back here. Gap back to Team 11, that's Germany. That is Steffi Böhler. Sorry, not Steffi Böhler, it's Nicole Fessel again.
Fessel definitely was slipping badly. The grip just not there on the climb.
So Finland, Slovenia and Sweden, 3 away. Good track craft there by Kalla, holding the inside, coming round.
Once these 3 are away, David, I think they're unstoppable, but, well, they're not separated yet. Norway's still in there in 4th.
So Finland, and now it's Saarinen who's going to take it up from Latinmäki. Charlotte Kaller's going to give the responsibility back to Ida Ingsmardottir, and then now it's Katja Wisnar who's got to keep the advantage that Petra Matic has got, and Micah Kaspersen-Faller has got to do a bit of a repair job for Norway.
Italy, well, it's 1.6 behind, and well, Follis bringing it back quite quickly.
Follis, as you say, still within touch, and then there's a break of about 9 seconds back to Canada, Germany, Japan, Russia and the United States, and surely that's too big a gap to close.
I think it is. At this stage of the race, once that gap has been created, it's so difficult to bridge that gap. Saarinen, she didn't seem to attack out of the stadium as she did first time round. I think we'll see her attacking so strongly up this climb.
You have to pace yourself. Remember, they've done 3 rotations. This is rotation number 5 for Saarinen, and that counts in the semi-finals and these runs, and you've got to actually gauge your energy for the whole race.
You have, but look at Saarinen. She's not getting rid of the 2 around her. Igmarsdottir's hanging on in there, so's Faller.
Ingsmardottir much better on this second leg, looks much more comfortable. It was a bit staccato, her skiing on the first leg. This is much more rhythmical, and she's skiing better on the outside there of Micah Kaspersen-Faller, who's a bit like a terrier. You know, every time you think you're going to get away from her, she comes back and bites you at the heels.
You need that mentality. You need the mentality where, you know, even if there's a gap, you've still got to keep fighting to try and close the gap. There is a gap now back to Slovenia, David, and that's going to be tough for Matic to close it. Oh no, she's back. Wisnar's back in. Yeah,
but it is still a good 6-7 meters. And remember, look at what Saarinen's doing. Exactly what you said, Mike. Putting the punishment in here to open it up. And Wisnar just almost stood up there. She was almost out of energy.
Can't believe it. She need to double pull for a good 50 meters over the left-hander to pick up your momentum on this downhill section.
So gliding well, Finland and Norway and Sweden, and then Follis locking on, and then that little gap, and again Finland, by the advantage of leading, are getting this optimum track on the near side, the shortest journey and probably the better conditions. And Wisnar, just when this happens to you, just got to mentally dig in.
Yeah, it's now down to what, 20 meters. That's psychologically very tough, and Petra Matic is going to have to attack from the changeover to close the gap down.
The worry is that Matic on this second rotation for her is going to have to use a lot of energy she would have hoped to have kept for the last leg.
Going to be used up. I do like we mentioned it earlier, the experience of the Italians, Follis and Longa. Follis just playing a canny game in at the back there.
But interesting that they've got Longa on the anchor leg rather than Follis. In other circumstances, you'd have expected Follis to sprint them home. Some interesting decisions now, but it is Saarinen to hand over to Kristen Lakemäki and Kaspersen-Faller to hand over to Astrid Jakobsen, who now has to produce a very good second leg for the Norwegians. And it is Finland, Norway, Sweden, then a little gap back to Italy and Slovenia. It wasn't the most fluent of handovers there from Follis to Longa. And now you can see the gap the deficit's actually doubled. It was 10 seconds, it's now 20 seconds back to the likes of Japan and Russia and Canada and the United States and Germany. But up front, Krista Lakemäki.
Lakemäki, she's got a gap there back to Norway. I'm not sure she's aware that she has such a gap. So if she comes out of this descent and realizes that there's a gap, I'm quite sure she's going to put in a sprint up this climb. The gap's closed down.
Well, the gap's closed down, but there are 4 there. 3 medals at stake. Slovenia, Petra Matic still trying to get back into this. Lakemäki shoulder to shoulder with the woman in red, Astrid Jakobsen. Astrid will get that extra little bit of energy boost from the Norwegian fans clustered on the Bakken Hill, which is just to the women's right here. They crest round here now. You can see those Norwegian flags. And it is Finland, from Norway, from Sweden, from Italy, and Matic is struggling to get back into this.
This is very expensive for Matic. She may be able to pull this back, but surely she'll suffer on the last time round.
Yeah, Charlotte Kalla going into second place. She looked very good first time around. She looks powerful now, sitting in behind the Finn. Remember, you don't have to take the lead now. The only time you want to take the lead is actually on the finish line.
I can't believe, Marit, she's pulled back the almost pulled back the 5.3 seconds in behind Norway. Norway need to close this door now, close the gap. Sweden skis running well.
Yeah, what a gutsy effort. I mean, she is torn around now, Marit, but she is using a lot of petrol to do this. And it just might catch her out, because if she's got to make up a similar margin, if Visnar gives away a similar margin on the next and her final rotation, it's going to still be very difficult for Marit. It just shows you what a powerhouse of a sprinter she is.
She's just so gutsy, Petra Marit, just always believing that she can close any gap. Visnar now needs to keep hold of this, keep it less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, Visnar looking slightly concerned, as she well might, over on the far side, waiting for the handover here. Well done, Petra Marit, for what she's done there. But it's still in the lead there. Krista Latenmäki. Marit might have closed up, but Latenmäki still got the call. Charlotte Kalla looking really solid. And I think it's clever from Kalla, because she doesn't want to announce herself too early.
It's very clever. She's always tucking in behind, never taking point position at this stage in the race. Saarinen now needs to make a decision, and that is go like a rocket.
Longa skiing pretty well there for the Italians. So here we go, the penultimate lap here for these women, and leading out again. The Finns have virtually led from the gun here. And Saarinen trying to give them all a skiing lesson in sprinting here, with Ida Ingmarsdottir just on the right of your picture in white. Falla in red there for Norway. Then right behind for Italy is Follis. And once again, Visnar just losing those precious few meters. And surely, Mike, if she loses any more ground, it's just going to make it impossible, because that must have taken a heck of a lot out of Marit.
5 seconds at this intensity ahead of what Saarinen is giving is an impossible pace. But Visnar needs to hold on.
Yeah, but remember what Saarinen did coming up this hill, and then after the hill, she made it even tougher. And Ingmarsdottir, again, looking really good on the far side there. This woman who had a dynamite weekend in Drummond just before the World Championships. And that will have given her a lot of confidence. And look at the power as she moves up here, determined to take on the Finn. And she's the first racer to take on the Finn and push her back into second place.
That's a gutsy movement from Ingmarsdottir. She's got so much self-confidence and belief, and she's created a gap already.
Yeah, and you can see what it's done, because it's taken the front three away from the Italians and the Slovenians. But still sitting in there in second place, Eine-Kaisa Saarinen. There's Charlotte Kalla. Is she going to lead out on the last lap? And remember, you've got Norway in there as well. Jakobsen waiting, and you can see the detachment across to the Italian Follis. And now Ida Ingmarsdottir trying to really get away now. That's 3 meters, but the glide of the other two is not bad.
It's not bad at all. You can see Saarinen keeping level distance.
Dottir, 25 years of age, from Östersund. Came to know this about 3 years ago in the under-23 ranks. She's got pole position coming up here, but have a look at this. Saarinen really coming up now to put her shoulder to the Swedish racer and also the Norwegian. And Falla, the head just dropping, the shoulders just rocking.
But hanging in there, that's the mission accomplished if she can hang on in there, Falla.
And the legs are jelly for Visnar.
What a pity for the Slovenians. Nothing left in her legs.
So once again, Saarinen gets to the front and cuts across. Good track craft.
Cheeky little move. It was safe, it was acceptable, it didn't interfere, but
timing was brilliant.
Yes, and we're going to see Latenmäki way up the handover grid once again, I'm quite sure.
Right, it's Krista Latenmäki for Finland versus, for Sweden, Charlotte Kalla versus Astrid Jakobsen for Norway. The dark suit of the Finns, the white suit of the Swedes, the red suit of the Norwegians. Those are your three going for gold, silver and bronze. Just over 1,000 meters to go. Italy in fourth place, and it's Follis to Longa, and then Maric waiting. How painful for this is Petra Maric. 17 seconds. Well, it would take a miracle, Mike.
It needs a miracle for Petra, but I'll tell you what, Petra still believes is possible. The way that she left the grid.
Look at Kalla. Kalla has just attacked right the way from the start there and has opened up 10 meters. She's disappearing into the fog. Can they see her? Latenmaki's chasing. Then Astrid Jakobsen. Or has Kalla gone a bit too early? Is she going to run out of gas going up the hill? Now the double poling, and you can see the other two on the glide. They're catching up on Kalla.
Kalla stood up a little early, but that's just the tension of the moment. She stood up very early into this hill, gave Jakobsen a chance to close it down.
Yeah, but still, 4 or 5 meters. These two working together. Latenmaki on the left there. Is the energy just beginning to run out? Remember, this is the 6th time round the track. And Astrid Jakobsen realises the danger here. And Kalla has gone, and she's opened it up again.
Kalla's gone, and I think right now she's unstoppable. This is her to the definitive moment. They're not going to catch her.
So Sweden away. 2 very big tactical moves. One on the penultimate lap by Ida Ingmarsdotter to really throw it down to the Finns. And Sweden moving away. Well, the bookmakers, you could have had 13-1 on the Swedes winning the women's team classic sprint. Norway in silver, Finland in bronze, and that looks uncatchable. Barring a fall, it's Sweden's to lose from here on in.
That was an amazing strategy from Kalla. She had it planned. She thought, if I just give it absolutely everything in the first 300 from the handover, I might create a gap. She did.
But what did I say on the last lap, Mike? She just kept quiet. She did not announce herself. She's had 2 rotations where she's just tucked in. She didn't want to tell the others how good she was feeling by going into the lead until it really mattered. And she doesn't want to leave it down to 120-meter sprint.
And as all the best sprinters say, you need to save a little something for the last loop. And the Swedes played it so well. Latenmaki, she's not quite finished yet, but Jakobsen looks to have the more dynamic movements through her body at the moment.
2 years ago, it was Finland from Sweden and Italy. But in 2011, it's looking as if it's going to be Sweden, who were silver medalists with Anna Olsen and Lena Andersson 2 years ago. And Charlotte Kalla bringing it home with Ida Ingmarsdotter standing there, looking for her teammate to cheer her home. They won the men's sprint with Emma Jonsson, and the Swede Charlotte Kalla, the Olympic 10-kilometer champion, going for gold. And what a fight for the silver. At the moment, Astrid Jakobsen just toughing it out. Latenmaki counter-attacking on the near side. Gold to Sweden. The Finns take the silver, and Astrid Jakobsen for Norway, the bronze.
She can't breathe. Let Kalla breathe. That was amazing.
Fantastic counter-attack there by Latenmaki to get back. She was in bronze, she got back into silver.
Latenmaki is the real deal from such a young age to do so much.
Arianna Follis in 4th place, the Italians. They were 3rd 2 years ago. And then coming home, Slovenia, it was an impossible task for Maric.
As you said, the Swedish team played it so intelligently, tucking in behind, not letting any gap being created, and then attack on that final changeover.
But also not telling anybody how much energy they had, not announcing themselves till it really mattered. That was the clever tactic. And not least because, actually, the Waxmen got it right today.
They did. I think they're out all night trying to put amends to their mistake the last couple of days.
World champions. They might have a drink or two around Östersund tonight.
Ingmarsdotter played it so well.
Yeah, that's a first big title for her. Kalla's stood on the top step of a major championship, of course, in Vancouver. But for Ida, that's her personal announcement to come through as a champion. And she's been improving all season. And she gave notice in Drammen, as I said, of her well-being. So the race really set alight by Kalle's dynamite start out of the stadium.
Took them by surprise. And in the men's race, a similar strategy, I'm quite sure, will be tried. I think it may well be from the Russian team, but the teams will be aware as to how this one was won.
So Charlotte Kalle, who's had not the perfect of seasons, she's had too much sickness to recover on, but in a funny sort of way, as you see, a totally exhausted Russian there. Not sure that was Dotsenko. Was it Dotsenko?
I think it was Ivanova.
Ivanova, yeah. What it does tell you is that sometimes when you have an interrupted season by sort of colds and flu and you're forced to take a rest, when it comes to the championship, you've got just that little bit more energy.
When you're in peak condition, and then, as you say, you have to take a forced break, you lose a lot of form. I do feel for Jakobsen. She could do no more. She tried to go with it. She couldn't. But Latinmäki, we thought maybe she was down and out, but she had other thoughts.
Sweden the gold, Finland the silver, Norway the bronze. And the rest, well, you can see quite a gap. 9 seconds back to Italy in fourth place. And, well, for Japan, United States and Russia, never really at the races in this final. Well, an exciting team classic sprint. I know there are plenty out there, Mike, who would prefer to see sprints confined to freestyle, and this is only the third classic sprint that we've had since they were introduced in 2005 in classic style. Dahlberg and Anderson, they won the first one. That was in 2006 in the Olympics in Torino. That was Swedish. Canada got the silver, Finland got the bronze. Then we went to